Judges ready?
So this is my movie menu. It's made by Bite Size. Picture this. You're in a food truck line and you're waiting. You're just waiting for your food. Unfortunately, it's really loud. You're with friends. They're talking with you. The person taking your order can't really hear you because they're trying to talk to the person making the food. And the generator is very loud. So what happens when you get your food? There's nothing. It's wrong. The food is not the one you ordered. So what are we going to do? You're going to use My Moving Menu. My Moving Menu is a QR code menu on the side of the food truck. It allows you to scan, order, and pay all there. My Moving Menu allows you to see with a multilingualistic setting, a in-depth description of the food, and a high-definition images of what you're ordering. Once again, I'm Ileana Silva, the CEO of Bite Size.
I'm Amber Gutierrez, the secretary.
I'm Dylan Schwartz, the CMO.
I'm Roman Vasquez, the co-CMO.
I'm Alvaro Reyes, the CTO.
Zach Lee, the CFO.
So this is Tito. Tito owns a local food truck in Fresno. Only problem is it's him and his brother, and him and his brother don't really have great communicating skills because one's taking the food down and the other one's making the food. Unfortunately for Tito, he doesn't have the ability to help ask someone else to take orders because he doesn't have the availability or time to do it. So he's going to be using My Moving Menu.
Our solution is to provide an easy way of viewing food truck menus while being user-friendly. How it works: you scan the QR code on the food truck, place your order and wait, and from there you receive your food.
So this is our MVP. It's if you were to scan the QR code, it'll take you to our MVP, which will be met with 4 different languages: English, Spanish, Hmong, and German. This person is a native English speaker, so he's going to English. As you can see, you're going to see specials, tacos, and sides. The reason you're going to get all these is because the owner of the food truck has control over the menu, and this is what he's wanting to display. Tacos will include tacos de asada, tacos de pastor, tacos de camarón. And as you can see underneath it, you can see the price, so you don't actually have to go in the description to see the price. You can just hit off the price if that's what you're looking for. This person tacos de pastor. And tacos de pastor, you're going to see the picture in the description. You're able to put your name, your phone number, and special instructions if need be. If you don't like onions or maybe you like the sauce of the place, you can ask for more of it. And the phone number, so once you order your food, it's only going to be a notification, so you can go pick up your food unless you want to be sending it in the earshot truck.
These are our 2 plans. The first plan is a monthly plan for $350 a month. The second plan will be yearly, which is $2,990 a year.
The competitive analysis. So our main competitor is Clover. Clover offers very good images and good description and languages. The difference between Clover and our My Moving Menus is that we do have better prices, we do have better images, we have that's better in the description, and our multi-linguistic settings are simpler and easier to access.
This is our TAM, which is our tangible addressable market. If we are able to reach the 100% market share, which is 32,000 food trucks in the United States of America, we will reach around a revenue of $135 million. And our SAM, which is our serviceable addressable market, which is the area which we will advertise to, which is 1,671 total food trucks in the West Coast. We will get a revenue of 7 mil. In the first year, we will reach 579,000. Second year, it would grow to 861,000. The third year, it would reach 935,000. This has a conversion rate of 2.39%, a growth rate of 6.7% every year, and a renewal rate of 8%. Our startup is 54,460, which includes app development and patent. Our SG&A will include total selling costs, general and administrative costs, which would be 194,000 a year.
So this is our advertisement. It will be our logo, which is a food truck, driving back and forth, telling you quick information about our product. And under that, it will send you a link to our landing page. This will be on Instagram and Facebook for 2 weeks.
Right. This is our landing page. It's going to give you 3 points of why we're unique compared to our competition. And in the bottom left, there's going to be a video of our CEO, Ileana, giving you a description of our product. And then in the bottom right, there's going to be a sign-up page to become an early adopter of line moving menus.
So if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us at our Gmail and our phone number. Feel free to scan our landing page and sign up. And remember, don't move to our menus. Our menus move with you.
So it's a nice presentation, and it seems like the pretty good idea. So the revenues generated, it's the food trucks who buy your service, and the users then there's no fee involved.
No.
I had a question about your TAM versus your SAM. Go back to so these are the total, this is your, from research, the total number of food trucks in the United States, 32,000.
Yeah.
And so that's if you got every food truck involved, your revenue would be 135 million. And then the same thing with the West Coast. 1671 is the number here on the West Coast, or is that the number that you think you could get?
That's the number in the West Coast.
On the West Coast. So you're counting on getting 100% of those trucks. It may not be realistic, right? So then the database then, when the guy who has the food truck, when they want your service, then would you guys then be responsible for digitizing their menu and putting the information into their database?
So, yes, and also we will be offering a computer job, which allows the food truck owner to independently change it if need be. So let's say he has an item he's wanting to try out, or he has an item that he's taken off, he can do it on his phone on his app.
How did you come up with your research for how many food trucks are in, well, you say West Coast, but I think you mean California?
I mean California and the 2 states above it, which is
Oregon and Washington?
Yeah.
So how did you get that number?
I'm pretty sure it was I'm sorry, I can't think of it right now.
Don't worry about it. I don't want to put you on the spot. I just want to challenge you to look into that some more later as you go forward on this, because your pitch isn't everything. The business concept and the business success is everything. So I think that there's more.
I think so too.
California has almost 40 million people in it. I think Fresno has 500 trucks, and you only have 1,671 for Oregon, Washington, and California. I think Fresno probably has 500 trucks here in the Fresno County area, Madera, Fresno County area. There's 500 trucks. So that number, you can do a lot more business if you know how to reach those people, or you know how to find those people. And a DOT registration or a mobile kitchen registration with the health department, whatever you gotta do to find out how they're registered, to really get that to be a true number, is gonna be the same way you're gonna go after them to offer your service.
Bless you.
I didn't catch, and it's probably my fault, your revenue model. Can you go to the screen that shows how you want to charge for it?
How do you want to charge?
How much it costs?
Cost benefit analysis is when you look at how much Tito wants to pay per month for how much does it gain him. If Tito wants to do this for $350, he's seriously hoping that he can get $350 back out of it. If he pays for it for $350 just to make it flow better for his clientele and be a smoother operation, then it's really, it's a liability more than it is an asset. It's not something that's really in. So I would look at how do you appeal to, because this is really a benefit to the client. And I think that your customer being the food truck owner, Tito, he has to understand why this matters to him and what it's going to change for him. So I would say to look into that a little bit too. I'm not meaning to be too critical. You guys, I want to tell you did a great job in presenting, and you ticked all the boxes on what's said to be shown to us. And I know it takes a lot of courage to do that. And so I applaud you on that. Just those pointers are only to help. That's it from me.
I have a few things. It seems like at the very beginning you guys had a story, which is great, but I think that you kind of stayed on the one slide for too long when you were introducing your concept, which is great to fill us in, and I really appreciate that you guys kind of front-loaded that as to what we know, so that we know what the app is before you really get into it. I just think that you need to use kind of better visuals, both at the beginning to reinforce the ideas that you're saying in the story, but also throughout the app itself. I mean, throughout this presentation, I think that there are visuals that you could use, like long lines at a food truck, that are very easy to get by going to any event in Fresno that has food trucks that get sold out, right? That get the super line. So it's very doable to get those visuals in there to add a lot of credibility. You have Tito, which is great, but like, I want to see Tito's line too. I want to see Tito frustrated because he has too many customers, right? I think that would be a great idea for you guys to implement for your next pitch. And the pricing on competitors tab, do you mind going to your competitors? What is pricing?
So pricing for Clover, I think it's $160 a month, and that's with transaction fees at the end of the month too.
So, but Clover has an X on it. What I'm trying to say on this sheet, what does pricing mean? You're saying the items have pricing, like the,
We're trying to
or
say
do you guys charge money and they don't charge money? That seems like a big not value prop.
pricing, I believe it means that we are a little cheaper than Clover and who are real.
So instead of pricing, maybe something more applicable would be more affordable or less expensive, something like that, whatever your verbiage that you want to communicate is important, because just saying pricing really confuses me. I think I can understand what images means. I'm not sure how the other ones don't have information or language. I'm assuming Rizuku is a completely icon-based app or something. I'm not quite sure. So I'm just saying that this image could probably have a lot of work on it just to really clearly communicate what's different about you, because you're kind of looping a lot of things into the same bucket that don't belong there. I think that you guys might want to consider yourself as more of like a point of sale system. That's what it kind of seems like for me, is that you are replacing the need for a dedicated person to take the orders, and because of that, you should probably look at point of sale systems cost structures and business models. The sales system I used, I would kill to be able to only pay $350 a month. I would kill to do that, and that's on record, right? No, it would be really great if it was that inexpensive for me. But realistically, I pay percentage cost after every transaction that I have. On top of the credit card fees, there's also my point of sale system that also gets a cut of the revenue that I make. So that might be something, because I know that Tito probably would not really be down for a $350 liability every month, but if he knows that every time the app gets used, he's getting money, that's a little bit of a different positioning and could be a lot easier to get conversions for you guys. Yeah, so otherwise, I think that you guys are on the right track. When we talked earlier, I think that the idea was a lot less focused, and I definitely think that you guys are going on the right track, so good job.
Great, good presentation, you're loud, I can hear everyone. There was a couple things, if you go back to the stock photo, the first, it's a real photo, but is it local?
Oh, this one? Yes.
Oh, okay.
I think so. But
Okay.
it is.
It is? Is it
Yeah,
local?
it is local, but
Okay, awesome. I like it, I saw the 240, so I was like, oh, I don't think that's local. Is that, I saw the area code and I was like, oh, is that local?
I will apologize. I searched this up. Fresno food trucks with long lines,
Okay,
and this one popped up.
okay,
Should
awesome.
have-
Remember, we're local, I would just have a local, food truck on there, just so we kind of relate to it more. The other thing that I was thinking about was, how are you different from Yelp? How are you different from Yelp? Yelp provides feedback, you can write reviews, have pictures, you also can post your menu on there as well. How are you different from Yelp? That wasn't on there as a competitor.
I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
For me, one point of clarification, you said at the beginning, that they can actually make the purchase through the app. Okay, so you guys will be acting then as a credit card processor or as like or you're going to use a credit, like a different back-end register system for your app. Okay. Yeah, I think in that aspect, in being in this industry, if you could, as he said, like if you could tie in like that whole process into that fee and not make it a liability is going to be a strong suit. As a food truck owner, having a $350 a month for this pain point wouldn't be a value added for me. It would be like a liability, as they've said. So I think like finding a way to like incorporate that a little bit more and making that a selling point to that you're gonna process the transaction and do that. You said it so briefly at the beginning that like in the end when I saw like the $350 a month, I was like, oh, just have an app where people can look at my menu. Like there's a lot of apps out there like that are free. And there's even food truck apps out there that don't charge any money that do it for the purpose of, I think it's, LA has one called like Find My Food Truck or something like that. That it's entirely free for the food trucks, made by people just to support that industry there. So finding that value connection there and making it actually easier for them. And then the other one, if you want to go back to the competitor analysis, I'll just, not to beat it worse, but I think definitely working on this area and like showing where you guys are better than your competitor in this market would be a really one. I don't know the two, the Q-Review or Rizuku. I may just be out of touch with current technology, but as a food truck Clover, I don't know either of those. Clover I know, and as he said, Clover is going to incorporate that into their credit card processing fee. So if it's a system that you already have, you're going to have a hard sell for me to like add another thing they also provide. So why is it going to be that much better? So I think clarification on this slide and really drilling this piece home to somebody like me would be really big, because that's what I'm looking for. What is that $350 going to get me a month? So.
Right, and I think just to clarify, like the issue isn't necessarily the cost itself of the $350. It's just the fact that the restaurant owner has to make up that much before they can even get return on paying that money. And for me as a business owner, I don't want this to be breaking even or getting a little bit for this amount of effort. I want this $350 to be getting me like $2 grand. right? Like it should be getting to that scale, and it's hard to do it when there's an upfront cost. So changing it to a different transaction model might be much more beneficial for you guys.
Yeah, it's not that they have to make $350, they have to make $2,000 to make the $350 to pay your fee. So it's a lot more than just $350.
That would be a 6-time multiplier, so spending the $350 and getting $2,000, as both of us just said, is like 6 times over. So you really got to look at everything you can offer. Did you guys know about Find My Food Truck that you mentioned? Have you ever heard of it?
You know, we're gonna research that.
How did you know of this?
I honestly don't even know if it's around, so maybe speaking a little bit out, but that is it. Being in the industry, I have seen that app, and there's a lot out there that I have seen that are free. Some cities even do them for their city specific that are free. You can pull up a menu, and I know LA has one. And I can on a break I can look it up and I can give you guys that information. So just being in the industry, being a food person, and looking for food trucks, there's a lot out there. There's one that's based off of Twitter too. When a food truck does a ping on Twitter that they're going to have a food truck somewhere, like populate on a map. It's on an app that you can like find your food trucks and what you're looking for. Especially some of the harder to find food trucks. And in that, their menus are available. All those type of things are available, included on that app. So.
Well, I think that that's something that you guys should look at offering is a GPS locator for, say, Tito's just Tito right now, but his brother and him don't communicate that well. That's all I know about Tito from you guys. But in a year, Tito's brother might have 2 trucks and Tito has 2 trucks, and they got people running them. And if people love Tito's trucks more than anybody else's and they want to find out where Tito is, and he's got 4 trucks out there, if he could locate it and go, not only do I have the menu app and can look at it, but I can go right to them and get that food, because I'm at my aunt's house for dinner and she just said, I don't want to cook. I'm just bragging about Tito's. How do I go get it? You know. I've also noticed a couple local Mexican restaurants that are closing at a certain time with their brick and mortar store, but they've got trucks out now. I know one that has 2 trucks beyond their store that are operating and still out in the city available to get that same taste, that same flavor, that same food. So I think the Yelp conversation has to be tackled. The Clover, the pay point has to be tackled. Is what's available already? How are you integrating it all? Why is this the superior system? Yeah. Anything else, man? That's it.
All right. Thank you, guys.